So imagine for a second discovering a highly classified document. And this isn't just some random leaked memo or a routine intelligence briefing.
Right. We're not talking about standard paperwork here.
Exactly. This is something that doesn't just suggest we might not be alone. It goes, well, so much further than that.
Oh, absolutely.
It claims, with like this agonizingly precise bureaucratic documentation, that our own government has been running a massive illegal shadow operation.
A completely covert enterprise.
Yeah, designed from the ground up to hide the reality of non-human intelligence from elected officials, from the military chain of command, and, by extension, from you.
Okay, let me stop you right there, because if we are going to do this deep dive today, we need to be incredibly rigorous.
Fair enough.
Because that premise, it sounds like it belongs in a cheap geopolitical thriller, right? Like a rogue government agency hiding aliens. It's a trope.
It really is a movie plot.
Yeah, but the origins of the dossier we are looking at today, they aren't rooted in science fiction. They are rooted in the very real, very rigid, and deeply complex architecture of the U.S. military intelligence enterprise.
And that is exactly why we're here. You might be listening to this on a commute or at your desk staring at a spreadsheet, but for the next hour or so, you are an intelligence analyst in a secure room with us.
We are locking the door.
We're locking it. Let's look at the evidence. We are forensically examining this massive, multi-year internal whistleblower report.
Provided to Congress under the FY23 National Defense Authorization Act, right?
Correct. And the focal point of this entire document, like the dark center of gravity that it all revolves around, is an unacknowledged special access program, a USAP.
Codenamed Immaculate Constellation.
Immaculate Constellation, yes.
And we really need to establish our ground rules right now.
Good idea.
Because this deep dive is not about analyzing blurry, ambiguous photos posted on some obscure corner of the internet,
No amateur skywatcher stuff today.
Yeah. Exactly. We are not indulging in conspiracy theories. We are analyzing highly structured data originating from non-public holdings within the executive branch.
The real deal.
Right. We are going to examine the claims, the evidence, and the physical structure of this alleged program completely impartially. We have to separate the hard sensor data from the bureaucratic drama.
Even though, as we're about to see, the bureaucracy itself is kind of the weapon being used to hide the data.
That is a very good point.
So let's unpack this. The mission of our deep dive today is to tear into the underlying evidence presented in this dossier.
The 7 categories of evidence.
Yeah. And we are going to focus incredibly heavily on the raw data. The military sensor readouts, so imagery intelligence or
OMINT.
And a human NMNT.
Right, the harrowing physical first-hand defense human intelligence reports. We want to understand the physical reality of what this report bluntly calls non-human intelligence, or NHI.
And technologies of unknown origin, TUO. Exactly. But before we get to the actual craft-defying physics in our skies, we really have to understand the vault. They're keeping these secrets locked inside.
The structure of it. Because the document opens with an allegation of a full-blown constitutional crisis.
That's from one, yeah.
It lays out this scenario where elements of the U.S. executive branch are accused of running a criminal conspiracy.
And those are the exact words used by the author.
Yes, criminal conspiracy. A plot to prevent the legislative branch, Congress, from exercising its lawful powers of oversight.
I want to make sure the sheer gravity of this lands for you. Think about it like this. Imagine you work for a massive global corporation.
Okay.
And deep in the basement, a rogue shadow IT department suddenly discovers a revolutionary physics-breaking new energy source.
Something world-changing.
Completely history-altering. But instead of bringing it to the CEO and the board of directors, they just quietly build a firewall around it.
And hide it.
Yeah, they lie about it in official financial audits. They manipulate the internal networks to hoard this discovery for decades, entirely to maintain total control.
It's a terrifying analogy, but, I have to play the skeptic here for a second.
Go for it.
It is one thing to hide a black-budget stealth bomber program.
Sure.
But it is entirely another to maintain a completely watertight firewall around something this globally significant for decades. I mean, how do you actually build a structure that's sophisticated?
Well, according to the intelligence files, They did it by defining Immaculate Constellation as a parent unacknowledged special access program.
Okay, so for the uninitiated, a USAP is the absolute highest echelon of classification.
The highest.
And the unacknowledged part is key. It means that even if a highly cleared senator or four-star general asks about it, if they don't have the specific need to know,
A narrow need to know, yeah.
the program manager is legally required to lie to them, to deny its existence entirely. It is a legally sanctioned black hole.
And according to the timeline in the document, this specific black hole was fully established in 2017.
Which is really interesting timing.
It's a fascinating data point because 2017 directly follows the massive public disclosure of the Pentagon's ATIP and AIWA-SAP programs by Lou Elizondo.
Right, the New York Times article.
Yeah. It's as if the moment the public and Congress managed to pry the door open and get a tiny glimpse of the reality of UAPs, the intelligence apparatus panicked.
And immediately built a newer, deeper, darker vault to shove everything back into.
Exactly.
But what's fascinating here is the primary mission of Immaculate Constellation, because if this report is accurate, this isn't just some passive archive of dusty Roswell files.
No, it's active.
Highly aggressive. Its stated mission is collecting IMNT and MESNT, so measurement and signatures intelligence, on UAPs and alien reproduction vehicles.
ARVs.
Right, ARVRVs.
Right.
And they are utilizing both tasked and untasked U.S. military intelligence resources across the globe to do it.
And because it's a parent program, it has various child SAPs operating under its umbrella. It acts as the central nervous system.
Right.
But the most chilling operational detail to me is how it actually functions day to day out in the field. They describe this highly sophisticated internal security control.
The quarantine protocol.
Yes, the quarantine protocol.
I really want to drill down into this mechanism because it answers the biggest question skeptics always have.
Which is?
If this is real, why haven't more military pilots blown the whistle?
Right.
The report states that Immaculate Constellation acts as an automated systemic filter. It detects, quarantines, and transfers UAP imagery collection incidents before they can even circulate within the wider military networks.
Let me put that in everyday terms for you. Imagine taking a photo of something impossible on your smartphone.
Okay.
But before the image even finishes saving to your camera roll, the manufacturer silently reaches into your phone, deletes the file, and drops it onto a hidden server that you don't have the password for. That is what this USAP is allegedly doing to our own military. If a Navy fighter pilot's targeting pod captures a craft pulling 100 Gs, this automated system intercepts that data file on the tactical network.
It just yanks it out of the stream.
Yanks it right out and drops it straight into the Immaculate Constellation vault before the pilot's commanding officer can even process what their own jet just recorded.
That is exactly the mechanism. It enforces compartmentalization dynamically in real time.
It's brilliant, honestly.
It completely explains the persistent mystery of why highly cleared members of the intelligence community remain entirely unaware of UAP activities. The data is surgically excised before they even know a sensor tripped.
Which brings us to the active cover-up part. Section 4 of the report.
Right, the DoD records.
The report alleges this quarantine isn't just a passive digital filter. It's backed up by aggressive active obfuscation by human beings in the Pentagon.
Shocking discrepancies.
Yes, specifically regarding ARO, the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. There are supposedly extant transcripts held by DoD leadership that show a pattern of trivialization, obfuscation, and outright denial.
During classified, closed-door conversations with Congress?
Yeah. They are explicitly accused of sitting in classified hearings and denying the existence of compartmented access programs related to the UAP mission.
And most pointedly, senior DoD representatives have allegedly looked appropriate congressional oversight members right in the eye and explicitly denied the existence of Immaculate Constellation itself.
So the DoD is looking Congress in the eye in a secure facility and saying, we don't have this program, while, according to the whistleblower, the physical documents proving they do are sitting on a server down the hall.
It's wild, but if we connect this to the bigger picture, I have to pause and ask why.
Why lie?
Yeah, why would senior officials take the immense career-ending legal risk of lying to a Congressional Intelligence Committee?
Arrogance.
Maybe. Is it just pure malice? Or is it an entrenched Cold War-era reflex? Because for 80 years, the prime directive has been to protect sources and methods.
Right.
If they genuinely believe that acknowledging this program reveals a critical vulnerability in our sensor networks or tips off adversaries, they might view lying to Congress as a justifiable national security imperative.
Even though it's deeply illegal.
Exactly.
It's a reflex that is mutated into a completely rogue operation. And the report backs this up by explicitly corroborating Lou Elizondo's claims via archived emails, performance reviews, all proving they were suppressing R&D into UAP tech.
It paints a staggering picture of a shadow bureaucracy.
It really does. But, the bureaucracy is only the container. It's just the vault.
Right.
If Immaculate Constellation is the vault, Section 2 of this report is what's locked inside.
The raw intelligence.
Let's crack it open.
Okay.
Because we are bridging from the hiding of the data to the data itself, the IMINT. Now, the report notes right away that this data is deliberately fragmented.
Yes, which is a classic counterintelligence security protocol. The databases aren't kept on one neat server.
That would be too easy.
Right. They are scattered across combatant commands and armed services to prevent anyone from seeing the big picture.
But the whistleblower saw a subset of it.
And what they found is deeply unsettling because the sensors catching this, we are talking about military-grade infrared, FLIR, full-motion video, thermal.
Stuff that picks up wavelengths the human eye can't see.
Exactly, which ensures a verifiable chain of custody and eliminates the blurry photo skeptical argument.
Okay, so let's dive into the first major case study. This took place under CN Comler, daytime full-motion video, and FLIR over the ocean.
The cuboid formation.
Yeah, roughly 12 metallic orbs, about 3 to 6 meters in diameter, and they flew in a tight cuboid formation.
The geometry here is fascinating. 3 vertical square formations of 4 orbs each.
It's bizarre. They create the illusion of a 3D cube flying at a distance. And the thermal data, they registered as white-hot against a black-cold ocean.
But without any exhaust plumes.
Right, just a heat shimmer contrail.
Which might not be heat at all. If the craft is using gravitational lensing, warping space-time, it bends light, which looks exactly like a heat mirage.
Here's where it gets really interesting. They're in this perfect cube. Then they break formation in pairs.
And they do it so fast the sensor loses track of most of them?
They accelerate rapidly upwards while maintaining the original trajectory.
It defies any known drone swarm behavior.
Completely.
We simply do not have drones that can pull those G-forces without tearing themselves apart, let alone in coordinated pairs.
Okay, case study 2. Indo-PACOM, the equilateral triangles.
This one is alarming.
The first incident is a fighter jet-sized triangle hovering less than 200 meters above an unwitting vessel at night.
2 lights visible underneath.
Yeah. But the second incident is the major red flag.
Oh, absolutely. I want to focus intensely on this one.
Go ahead.
So a large equilateral triangle appears over a group of intelligence vessels. It has bright points at the bottom corners and this sweeping horizontal bar of light.
Like a Cylon or something.
Right. But the report states these U.S. vessels were engaged in SIGINT and MASINT collection, and they were pre-positioned.
Pre-positioned.
Due to foreign use of those coordinates.
Wait. Does this mean we or our adversaries can predict where these alien reproduction vehicles will appear?
That is the implication. And it raises a massive question. How do you pre-position a fleet for an anomaly?
You can't. Not unless it's on a schedule.
Exactly. It implies someone has modeled their flight paths.
That is terrifying. Okay. Case study 3, the Indo-PACOM large disk.
Massive saucer.
Massive, 200 to 400 meters in circumference.
Stadium size.
Caught on OPR, so space-based infrared, using a dense cloud formation for concealment.
And the intelligence it showed when it broke cover is what matters here.
Yeah. It seemed to realize it was being tracked from space. It reversed direction back into the clouds and accelerated away.
Which means the craft exhibited real-time situational awareness of classified U.S. orbital assets.
It knew our satellites were watching it.
It's playing cat and mouse.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Let me quickly tour the remaining IMINT so we get the full picture.
Sure.
The Northcom jellyfish, or floating brain, flew against the wind with hanging appendages, rigid, no visible propulsion.
Very organic looking.
Yeah. Then the Indo-PACOM boomerang decelerated, emitted a sphere of light from its wings that completely engulfed it, and the footage ends.
Some kind of exotic energy emission.
And the Northcom supersonic Rangefowler, a head-on intercept of a Navy fighter jet emerging from a cloud bank.
So if you synthesize all these disparate sightings, they aren't just hovering lights. They are actively intercepting our fighters, monitoring our borders, and playing with our satellites.
They own the airspace.
Basically, yes. But sensors only tell half the story.
Very true.
If you really want to know what this technology actually feels like, you have to look at the human toll.
Section 3. The boots on the ground.
Yeah.
Defense, human intelligence, or human in.
Let's shift to that.
Okay, so the data set here is over 400 reports from 1991 to 2022. And the report outlines a taxonomy of the unknown, ranking the shapes.
Spheres and orbs are the most common, right?
By far, followed by disks. Triangles, boomerangs, and irregular or organic shapes are the rarest.
But they share physical characteristics. Transmedium capabilities, lack of sonic booms, the ability to turn invisible or blend into the sky.
Focused light beams.
And severe electromagnetic interference.
Right. So let's look at close encounter number 1, the F-22 intercept.
This one is intense.
Picture this. A stealth F-22 fighter in the Eastern Air Defense Sector moves to intercept multiple metallic orbs hovering in place.
The pilot expects them to scatter.
Instead, it's the dogfight that wasn't. A smaller formation of these orbs, about 3 to 6 UAPs, actually boxes in the F-22.
The spatial dominance described here is terrifying.
One UAP stayed exactly less than 12 meters directly starboard of the cockpit.
12 meters.
Yes. Maintaining orientation perfectly parallel to the jet, despite the F-22 executing multiple evasive roles.
At those speeds, the technological overmatch is absolute. The premier U.S. fighter was essentially escorted out of its own mission area like a toddler being guided out of a room.
Helpless.
Completely.
Okay, close encounter 2. The CVN flight deck. This brings in the altered reality aspect.
The psychological impact.
Yeah. Pacific Aircraft Carrier, night duty. A small orange-red sphere drops from high altitude to just 100 to 200 yards right over the flight deck.
And the visual description was bizarre.
Roiling like the surface of the sun. But it weirdly emitted no ambient light that illuminated the ocean or the ship.
Which violates basic thermodynamics.
Right, but it's the biological effect that's crazy. Personnel reported altered perceptions of time. When it left, they snapped out of a trance and felt profound unease.
So I have to ask, is this a weaponized psychological effect? A way to pacify the crew?
Or just a byproduct of the propulsion?
Exactly. Warping space-time might just do that to a human brain, or it's sheer ontological shock.
It happens again in Close Encounter 3, the airfield perimeter breach, eastern seaboard.
A small sphere hovering over ground equipment.
Yeah, and it had this heat haze distortion of light bending around it.
Yeah.
Ground personnel reported intense dread, and they were uncertain if it lasted 10 or 15 minutes.
Missing time.
Yeah. And the tables in the report correlate shapes with these effects. Triangles cause anxiety, insomnia, feeling watched. Irregular shapes cause the smell of ozone, temperature drops, and severe psychological distress.
The human toll is undeniable.
So if this is happening over our bases and carriers, what's happening in the rest of the world? And how long has this been going on?
Which brings us to sections 5, 6, and 7, the global chessboard.
Yeah. Section 5 mentions restricted OSG historical records. Document G00162778.
A 1978 NSA report.
Verifying Soviet research into parapsychology, psi, and the biological effects of UAPs on humans.
The Cold War context here is crucial. This proves the U.S. dedicated massive intelligence resources to studying foreign UAP exploitation.
It frames the UAP issue not just as a scientific mystery.
No, it's a secretive, decades-long arms race between major terrestrial powers to field novel technologies derived from NHI.
And the SIGINT, the signals intelligence in Section 6, proves the adversary perspective.
Peer and near-peer countries are having the exact same problem.
UAPs are penetrating their sensitive military and nuclear facilities too.
And their response is different from ours. Foreign security apparatuses treat them as dire threats. They try to intercept and shoot them down.
While desperately trying to deduce the science behind them.
It's a chaotic global situation.
Which leads to Section 7, sensitive sources. The report calls it from mouth to ear.
Right. In the intelligence world, this means off-the-books human intelligence.
Because you can't put it on a network.
Exactly. The most sensitive truths aren't written down in emails. They're passed directly between individuals to avoid the very quarantine system's Immaculate Constellation setup.
Wow. Okay, we need to synthesize the big picture here.
Let's do it.
We've gone from a shadow bureaucracy illegally hiding data from Congress
to undeniable multi-sensor footage of craft-defying known physics.
To the biological and psychological toll on our service members.
To a global, decades-long shadow arms race.
The report's conclusion is blunt. The official disclosure of non-human intelligences on Earth is a pivotal moment in human history.
But there is a final warning in the philosophical closing of the report that we can't ignore.
The authoritarian part.
Yes. It warns against the lure of authoritarian solutions justified by expediency and appeals to national security.
Meaning?
If disclosure happens, the ensuing panic, the ontological shock, could be used by governments to seize unprecedented power.
So the true threat might not be the NHI.
Right. The true threat might be how human power structures react to them.
That is a chilling thought. And it ties perfectly to the provocative final thought I want to leave you with, based on the report's sign-off.
Scientia igne probata, veritas per fidem.
The lech proven by fire. Truth through faith. I want you to really think about those flight deck crews frozen in a trance, or that F-22 pilot boxed in by impossible machines.
If our most advanced sensors and our best trained observers are entirely outmatched, and our own government's instinct is just to lock the truth in a dark box, when disclosure finally comes, will you trust the authorities trying to manage the narrative? Or will you demand to see the raw data for yourself? Until next time, keep looking up and keep questioning what you're told.